I know this is the weekend of the NFL playoffs and the NCAA football finals, but I've got to talk some WNBA. The January 9th deadline quietly passed, and there really wasn't any discussion about it seemed like, and this is a really big deal. Here's where the WNBA labor negotiations stand right now, and why delay is soon going to get very expensive for everyone involved. But first, how did we get there? In October 2024, the players formally opted out of the existing collective bargaining agreement, the CBA. It wasn't dramatic. It was the only obvious and common sense action to take. I mean, the revenue of the league is completely different than it was when it was developed. Now, throughout 2025, the league's posture looked a lot like an extension framework. Gradual salary cap increases, some decent max salary growth, definitely, and expanded benefits, things like travel standards and childcare and health protections. But revenue sharing, while discussed, was only discussed in broad conceptual terms. No defined percentage, no automatic mechanism tied to growth. The players pushed back, looking for a direct, significant tie-in to revenue growth. And both sides kept agreeing to push back the deadline. That was until January 9th. Now we're in no person's land. The league's most recent serious offer came in late 2025, a few weeks before the extended January 9th deadline. And while it did represent significant growth, 3 to 5 times the last agreement, there were very good reasons to reject this offer. The league proposed a massive jump in headline numbers, team salary caps rising to around $5 million, max salaries in the $1 million plus range, and minimum salaries north of $250,000, and even some revenue sharing. But here's the catch, and it's the main focus of the dispute. The league offered players a share of net revenue, not gross revenue. Net revenue is profit, which can sometimes be difficult to calculate and totally out of control of the players. After everyone else is paid, everything else comes off the top, players get their cut. Also, gross revenue is much easier to calculate. TV rights, ticket sales, etc. are mostly public and not up for debate. And here's the rub. While the players might be getting half of net revenue, the profit left at the end, it would only translate to about 15% of gross revenue. That's even lower than the last contract. I mean, come on. The WNBPA's position has been consistent. They want a defined share of gross revenue, reportedly around 30%, before expenses are carved up. Gross revenue is cleaner, more transparent, and automatically lets players share in the growth from media deals, sponsorships, and expansion fees. So the league's offer moved the numbers forward, yes, but not the architecture. It raised salaries, but it didn't guarantee that players would participate automatically in the upside that is certainly coming. From my perspective, there's an open suitcase full of money. It's outside. Both sides see it. Both sides know it will multiply. But the problem is, while they argue, the wind is beginning to pick up and will soon start to blow the cash away into oblivion. There's a lot of money to split, but delay is more expensive than it looks. So far, this is not a hostile negotiation. Well, not that hostile. There have been a few calls for new leadership, but there's no lockout. No one wants or is threatening canceled games yet. On the surface, everything may feel calm, but underneath that calm is a timing problem. The suitcase is opened. The wind is blowing more every day. That money isn't waiting for fairness. It doesn't get recovered later. It's just blowing away. And that's the cost of delay. For players, every game of every season lost is money that's gone forever. But WNBA careers are short. You don't get to retroactively earn a share of growth you helped create. Stars might offset some of that with related opportunities, but most players can't. Delay compresses lifetime earnings into fewer years, but a bad deal would be a bigger impact to most players. Still, if camp is delayed, the ramp up rushed, the calendar compressed, the risk of injury increases. Also, both the players and the success of the league decreases. Both sides continue to lose while they agree to the same number they are eventually going to get to anyway. There's also brand cost. The league is in a moment of credibility and momentum. I just paid another installment on my season tickets. But even small disruptions, a delayed start, a shortened preseason, a few canceled games, introduce friction at exactly the wrong time. It doesn't derail growth, but it dulls it. Delay is dumb. As the calendar moves toward April, both sides are feeling the pressure. Not from threats, it comes from logistics. The drafts, training camps, preseason, ticket sales, hype, anticipation. Even with a deal in place, you're talking about rushed preparation, maybe trimmed schedules, and perhaps a league with less revenue, which is what's being fought about in the first place. So when people ask, why isn't this done yet? The answer isn't dysfunction. Both sides know the value of the treasure and the cost of delay. It's about who captures what percentage of the upside of what's clearly coming next. But it could be a larger percentage of less if they wait too long. The biggest risk isn't a lost season. It's going to happen. The risk is that while everybody argues over how to divide the suitcase, the wind keeps blowing the cash away. One rushed camp, one canceled game, one lost fan, one injured player at a time. And nobody wins that way. Let's get this resolved, because it's time to get fired up.